evening, everybody. Well, it's evening for me, but it's not for my guest today. This is Country Music News International. My name's Nigel Sharpe, and I'm talking to Callie McCullough, who is, I guess, in Nashville.
Yes.
But I know you're not from Nashville originally because you're from Canada.
Yes.
A member of the Commonwealth, because I am, of course, British. And you're from Ontario.
I am, and I'm from Stratford, Ontario, which is modeled after Stratford upon Avon.
Yes.
Home of Shakespeare.
Well,
so it's worked at the Shakespearean Theatre Festival. So actually quite a lot in common with the Brits, which I haven't been to England and it's got to be like 8 years.
Wow.
So I'm ready to come back.
Well, I'm from London in England, and I've been to London in Ontario.
That's where I was born.
Cool.
So there you go.
Yeah, nice place too. I wasn't there for very long, and it's a long time ago. So when was it you actually kind of moved from Canada to Nashville?
Well, so I was going back and forth from the time I was about 17. I started making trips to Nashville, and then I had left with a band on tour to California. And at the end of that tour, kind of decided, all right, I had the immigration things in place already. And so just made the move to Nashville, it's going to be 8 years in April. So it's been a good long time. Yeah. And it's been good. There's definitely been ups and downs, but I was pretty sure, from the time I was a teenager, like Nashville was the goal. I wanted to move there. And so here I am in warmer weather.
Lucky you, because it's not very warm here, I can tell you.
It's not very warm here either, but it's warmer than Canada, which is still buried. I actually was just home last week, and I just flew back. And yeah, there was a substantial amount of snow.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting watching some of the videos. There's a real kind of almost like Celtic feel to some of the songs, or at least some of the instrumentation. It's that lovely accordion playing going on, and some fiddle, and acoustic instruments all around. And it really sounds almost transatlantic, if you like. You could, whether it's North America, Canada, Scotland, Ireland. I felt very kind of comfortable listening to it because I grew up, listening to a lot of folk music over in Britain. And
that's a good compliment. I love that. I really grew up. My dad was big into Irish music and folk music and blues and rock, and my mom was really traditional country bluegrass. And when I was in high school, I was in a Celtic band, and we had like the three fiddlers, and I sang the big Irish ballads, and I love that music so much. And I think that it's still lilt in which the way I sing. I have this lilty thing, and it's so much formed by like the years I steeped myself in those big Irish and Celtic ballads, because I think at some point I will make a Celtic record, a full Celtic record at some point. But yeah, we sort of, I always say this, like, I'm not composed enough to intentionally bring all my influences together, but they just kind of spill out, so we sort of have tied in a lot of different elements of roots music, of bluegrass, of Celtic, of folk, of traditional country, and just sort of, I guess that's who I am, right? Like I don't really do things intentionally.
So when you come to sort of put songs together, and if you like writing songs, you get an idea for a song, do you like automatically reach for a guitar and work on that, or are you more a keyboard person for working out songs, or is it just all in your head?
I mean, I would say it is, the majority would be a guitar, but I've written on banjo, I've written on mandolin, I've written a little bit on piano. I always say this, I play guitar and then I play banjo, mandolin, and piano badly.
Okay.
So I play them badly. Like I can tinker and like get through a couple songs, but I play guitar.
Yeah. So how is that going actually for you over there with gigs and work?
It's it is like we're in Tennessee, and so we're pretty open, and I do think like it's been slow January, February. We are kind of gearing back up for the season and for the summer and spring, and so we're starting to lock in our travel dates. But it has been, just with shows and touring, not planning as far in advance because the climate is just kind of ever changing. And I know in Canada, it's been very, very shut down. I was able to do some bigger concerts in November. And then right after they locked everything down again. Because I do, in Canada, I do tend to tour and travel there as well. But that's been pretty much non-existent. So in Nashville, we've been able to continue, writing and recording and playing shows in town. I haven't been out on the road really, other than like a sprinkling of shows since before COVID. So looking forward to getting back out this summer. But yeah, I've been, just working, pretty regularly in town, but it is about to really gear up for the spring, which we're looking forward to. So it's, honestly, after, a year and a half of no shows, I was thankful to start playing any shows. Right.
Yeah,
I was like,
absolutely.
I'll play anywhere. I just, like you start to feel fading away. And so it was a really interesting time to, I'm not someone that's used to just sitting at home in the corner, and I had to dig pretty deep some days to figure out how to keep going, and so getting back to hanging out with people and being on stage it's felt really good, and we're, I did a few big shows in November. We're looking forward to this season of having some bigger stuff, but it's been a lot of like smaller, mellower things, but I've just been really thankful to like be out doing it again at all. So it's been good. We are pretty open here, which is great. And just looking forward to that continuing to, head back to normal. Let's hope.
What's the current state of affairs with Callie McCullough?
What's the current state of affairs? Well, yeah, so we've got the video dropping on Friday. It's big push, big release. We're very excited about CMT and still running on the single 3/4 time, which is the last single off the record after midnight. Yeah. And then really focusing on going out and playing live shows because finally get to tour this album. So focusing on that for this year, and have been writing. I have more than an album's worth of new material, and I've cut a lot of demos for it. So it's now about kind of putting the ducks in the road to make a new record, because I would love to release a new full album, in a reasonable, maybe a year or so. So I am, my brain is starting to marinate on getting back into the studio to start working on new music, but it's definitely written. I'm always writing. I write a few times every week with different people in Nashville. So still doing that, but I think really my focus for this year is just getting out and playing the shows. And, behind the scenes, we'll be working on some new music for sure. But I'm very excited to just like get out and get traveling again. So that's, probably what I'm most excited about for the year. All right. Are we going to rapid fire?
We're going to wrap this up.
Questions?
And I'm going to say, thank you so much for taking the time to do this totally crazy so-called interview with me. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ms. Callie McCullough. And if you'd like to listen to some very, very nice music with tinges of country music in there, tinges of Americana, Celtic, bluegrass, and an amazing voice, because you do have an amazing voice, if I forgot to mention that earlier, sorry about that. And I certainly enjoyed listening to the music. There's a lot of stuff in there that I love listening to. And have a nice gig this evening.
Thank you. Well, thanks so much for the chat. And I hope maybe I'll get to see you in Germany next year.
Well, that would be cool. Yes, I'll be checking on your website, for tour news. So if you're over here in anywhere actually in Europe, because
if we make it to Europe, we'll definitely send you a message. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm pretty much in the center of Europe, so getting to other places is not too difficult.
And I remember it. It was like, oh, in an hour, we're in another country.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's a novelty when you grow up in Canada. In an hour, you're
Yes,
just another cornfield.
absolutely. I mean, in a day, you could, tour half of Europe, if you can drive fast
Absolutely.
enough. Holland,
Yeah.
Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, France. You can do those in 2 hours for a start. There you go.
Anyways, thank you so much for the chat. Thank you for having me. And thank you for listening to the single. Appreciate it very much.
Yes. Love to Kitty, and love from all my little furry friends to you and Kitty as well. Okay, take care of yourselves, and bye.
Cheers, Nigel.